Hello, it's a week to go now before my installation at the engine house in the Walthamstow Wetlands of the Randomatones. If you don't know what the Randomatones are, they're all over this channel, but basically it's my project to present ambient music as sonic art. And so this installation, think of it as an art exhibition. It's not a gig, so if you want to come to it, you'll probably get the idea in 5 minutes, even though it's playing for 5 hours. You certainly don't have to sit there for the whole time and, as if you're watching people play. It's not like that. Think of it as an art exhibition, not a gig. So I made a video a couple of weeks ago saying I was very excited and that I had a lot to do, and that was certainly true. And the last few days I haven't really been all that well and I haven't got much done. Am I ready? Yes. If I sound tentative there, really the way to answer that question is, if I had to go and do the installation tomorrow, could I? And the answer is yes. I mean, not like immediately. I'd still have a few things to do. For example, and this is one of the speakers, and I'd have to, wire that up and do that to all of them. It's all nicely painted, as you can see. And there's another one. But in terms of the things on my list that I wanted to get done for this installation, there's still quite a bit to do. There's some software changes which are going to be the work of the evenings in the coming week. And then there are a few things that I have to build, mainly which I've been deliberately leaving till last. So if I went and did an installation tomorrow, it would be a sound thing only. There wouldn't, you can go and look at it, but I like to have little LEDs and lighting. If you've seen any of my earlier videos, that's definitely in evidence. For this installation it would be much less so, but I still want something, and this is one of what I've been doing. When I made a test video, I had the prototype, which I know it's here, on all of the speakers. Well, and I didn't like it because I wanted to separate the LED bit from the controller bit and have them at different parts of the speaker assembly. And so here's, and I needed to make 8 of these, and here's one of them, the one that I've made. And this bit here takes absolutely ages, and I've got 7 more to do. I've got all 8 of these. I've done these. But these then go somehow into here. This will hang like that. The LED bit facing upwards will go there so that it lights up here, which is what you can see from the bottom without the LED shining in your face. These things are actually pretty bright, and even at low voltage that I'm running them at. But that's going to go in there. The little electronic bit will then go probably on the top there, and then the wiring will go on a speaker plug, which I have the plugs, I just haven't wired them up, but that's a small job. So the actual assembly of this is quite easy, but the building of these little things is going to take me ages. And I'm going to have to do as much as I can very soon before I have to go back to work. I've been off work quite a bit, being not very well. And so that's all right. I'm going to be getting on with that in the coming week. The thing that's taken the most time, or that has required the most lapse time, definitely, is painting stuff. And you're thinking, what, painting? What do you mean? Well, I would like to paint my things. If you've seen my other Randomatones videos, it's a colourful thing going on there. Actually, either paint. Look. I can take this off without falling. So that's all painted white. This thing. If I switch this on, it is actually going to switch on. So I won't. It's painted white and it's got coloured LEDs on it, and if you take one of the older ones, I should really have prepared for this. Right, that's an older one, and that is, as you can see, nicely painted. And it's important to me to have these. This is a visual thing. It's sonic art. I think of it as sonic art, but even sonic art, you look at it as well as listen to it. So I see that as being somewhat important. So I have been painting. As you can see, the speakers are painted. This box of electronics here is painted. Why that colour? Well, it's to do with the other stuff in the room. If you have a look what's in the room, there are these lovely old instrument panels and stuff like that. And they have this sort of greyish turquoise. I don't know whether that's it, really. it probably isn't. When I mixed the paint up, it sort of looked quite good, and now that I look at it, it just looks grey. I don't care, I'm going with that. The speakers are a sort of a creamy colour. Again, it probably just looks white in here, looks like everything else, but the tiles of the room are this sort of creamy coloured tiles, so I want to sort of refer to that, if not exactly match it. I mean, there's probably no way I can match it, because the tiles look different depending on whether there's sun on them or not, for example, and there's an enormous west-facing window there. And then the supports which I've been building, those are painted to match the colour of the I-beams, and those have taken absolutely ages because that colour is a sort of a dark black-brown gloss, and it's been so cold. My assembly area for sort of woodwork and carpentry and painting has been my shed, and it's been so cold this January. When I first started painting things, which was 2 weeks ago, when I went straight after my visit there to take my measurements and stuff, I had painted the stuff up, and a week later in the shed it still hadn't dried. It was still touch sticky. You know, so I had to bring it in, and it's sort of dried a bit better indoors, but you've got to be careful that I don't get it all over the walls. Anyway, that has been a major time-consuming component of what I've been up to, is literally waiting for paint to dry, because until the paint's dry I can't then assemble, I can't put wiring on it, and so forth. So I've done the wiring for the speaker supports now. I've done the cables that will connect this to the speakers. That's actually these two socking great looms here. This one is 7 meters and this one I think is only 6, but they're going to be very important. I've got colour coding, blue here and red, very important. These are terminated with these lovely RS232 serial ports they used to use on computers. We use USB now, but it's a serial lead, and they have 9 terminals, and I need 7 here, so I mean it's fantastic. They're a bit fiddly to solder, surprisingly easy though, actually, these. I mean, I got through these fairly quickly. The green there is sort of heat shrink sleeving, just for tidiness. I kind of like that. Anyway, you know, these take a while, as did this. This is the control box now, which is pretty much finished, I think. Down at the bottom there is an ATX power supply from an old computer. Those things are just brilliant. There's, I mean, if you look very carefully, which I can't really see with these glasses, but you know, 12 volts at like 13 amps or something. Oh, I mean, it's just extraordinary, the power you get out of that, and it's perfect for powering quite a large number of quite low power speakers. It all adds up, but it's brilliant. At the back, where my finger is pointing now, is the Raspberry Pi, which is the controller. Its HDMI port goes into this, which is an HDMI to audio converter. It's a DAC, and with HDMI you get 8 channels, so that's your 7.1 surround sound in normal domestic use. Well, it's just 8 channels, and all 8 channels here go to this amplifier at the top, which I have made, an 8-channel amplifier based on the TDA 2030 chip, I think. Yes. And that's got a heatsink at the back there. There's this little capacitor stuck on the end there, which I should probably solder into the board. That's to prevent oscillation. When I put this thing together and turned it on, it didn't actually work. I had some problems, so I had to fix those. Up at the top here is rather pointlessly a wireless router. I say pointlessly, I haven't even plugged it in yet, sort of in case I want it, and that's a job for this coming week, to sort of wire this up in Wi-Fi and things if I even want remote control. It should be completely pointless because the Raspberry Pi should be able to act as its own Wi-Fi router. I've just not had the time of day to figure out how to do that in 4 years of playing with them. 5 years even. So one day I might. Anyway, around the back there you can't see, and I'm not going to move it, but there's the little control panel. I'll show you a still of that in a second, where I plug in these 2 vast speaker looms here, and switch it on and press a button to start it, and that's about it. So that's that, and that's sort of ready. I might cover these, well, I mean, it doesn't quite look ready. I've got some cable ties to put in here, and I've got some things to do up, and there is one tiny piece of electronics which I may or may not get round to do, which is to do with remote controlling a camera on top of one of the supports, if I want to do that. I'm thinking of doing some sort of time-lapse video from above where people cannot see. I mean, you cannot get up there to those beams, so it would be nice to have a video from a perspective that people can't see, as well as I'm sure I'll make a video, you know, staring up at it. And so I want to be able to turn it on or off, because I want the one idea I had is to record a minute every hour, you know, so that I get 6 minutes. Now that's only 5 hours. You think, yes, but there's the beginning, so on every hour. You turn it on at 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, and 3:30. That's 6 things over the 5-hour interval. See what I mean? So that is that. That's probably all it's worth telling you now. Like I say, if you want to come, don't feel you have to be there for the whole 5 hours. I mean, be my guest. You know, you're welcome to spend as long as you like there. But if you've got lots of things to do on Sunday, the 2nd of February, that's next weekend, and you just wanted to drop in and check it out and then buzz off again, great. You know, great. Say hello if you can find me. If not, thanks for doing that, and hope you enjoy just a little bit of it that you see. And I will see you some other time. I said last time that I didn't really have any plans for 2025. That's not entirely true. I do have one thing on my mind, which I will allude to now and then say no more, which is that it's to do more floating Randomatone stuff, because I do like that whole thing. But I don't really want to go in the boat anymore. And if tunnels with towpaths in them are sort of less interesting, it's all just, you know, it's a canal with railings next to it and blue and red lit up things making noise in it. I've done a lot of the floating videos, and the concept is starting to all sort of look the same to me now. I mean, I like them all, and I'll probably make some more. But I want to do something else, a slightly different approach to the floating thing, and probably again in tunnels, but not in the boat, so when I have to go in there myself. I want to try and see if I can do it without the boat. You'll see what I mean if I get round to it. Other than that, I will see you again sometime. Thanks for watching. Bye.